Hey guys, this is Jill and Darren with Stoic Events Podcast.
And we're talking all things wedding and event planning. But you know we're not stopping there as we dive headfirst into topical issues related to life, relationships, and overall well-being.
Get ready to have some open and honest conversations as we enjoy this brief dream called life.
This is the Stoic Events Podcast.
Stoic Events Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Darren. This is my beautiful wife, Jill, and we are Stoic Events.
Yes, we hope you all had a really great holiday. We took a couple weeks off for the holidays to be with our family.
Back!
I think we say that quite a bit. But anyway, regardless, today we are going to be talking about consistency.
Yeah.
We actually have 10 bullet points, but we're only going to talk about 5 today. And then the other 5 we're going to talk about next week.
That's right. Very fitting topic to start 2024 off with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some goals are going to be tried to be met by a lot of people, and I think consistency is a great topic to start the year off with and say, okay, let's get this down so we can achieve some goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with 5 right now, and then the next podcast we'll continue the next 5. So The first 5, my love.
Well, we'll start with being consistent helps build trust. And how that has happened is because it's your actions. If I am consistently showing Darren how much I care about him with my actions, my words, my behaviors, it's going to build trust within our relationship.
Yeah. That goes hand in hand to what Jill always said all the time to our kids was, you are who you surround yourself with. And if you don't have people who have some regimens and are very consistent in their life, they're not consistent, it's going to be very difficult for you to start some kind of program or an action plan to get somewhere and get that done, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And people watch you. So like whatever you're constantly doing, your habits, how you hold yourself, the different things that you do on a regular basis, people are going to know whether they can trust you or not. Are you a person that when you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it? You know, can they count on you?
Yeah.
You know, can they consistently count on you? Or are you kind of flaky? You know, so you have to be consistent in your actions towards other people. And in doing that, you're building trust.
Right. Point number 1. What's point number 2?
Consistency helps you achieve your goals.
Mm-hmm. It helps you achieve long-term goals. If you're wanting to get in the gym or you want to get your body back or whatever it is, that's going to take consistency. Mm-hmm. If you want to get promoted at your job or have a better opportunity for another position to come along, it's going to take consistency going to work and doing a good job.
Well, and here's the thing is if you have to make sure that whatever goal you're setting for yourself, you are ready to actually attack it. Don't set goals for yourself that you're really not interested in doing. Because you have to think about what it's going to take to achieve that goal. And in order for you to achieve any goal, anything, doesn't matter whether it's losing weight, gaining weight, getting more muscle, working out more, watching TV less, it's going to take consistency.
Yeah.
You're going to have to change something that you're doing now or add. It's still change. And the more you are consistent with the change that you're making, the more you are going to see the results of your efforts. Yeah. If you are not consistent, let's say, you know, you're on a diet, you're trying to lose 10 pounds, right? You find this great program, you start it, you follow through with it the first day. The second day you slip up. The third day you follow through with it. The fourth day you slip up. Do you think you're really going to achieve the 5 pounds you wanted to get off by doing that?
Let me add something here because this is a good point. I just thought of right here. There's something called the law of diminishing effect. That when you hear something, if you have a conviction to do it or you have a pull or an urge to do it, if you don't act within a short period of time, your will falls off. A guy won a Nobel Peace Prize over this, I think. But if you have a conviction on you and you really want to achieve your goals, it's time to have an action plan right now with consistency. You can't wait till I'm going to get to it because the law of diminishing effect tells us that your drive and your conviction to do that is going to fall off as time goes by. Little side note. It's very interesting. So consistency keeps you, no matter what, I'm going that way. I didn't have a good workout today, but they tell you all the time, especially when you're working out, right? Or learning a musical instrument. It's not how good your workout is. I know everyone's going to disagree with me, but it's the consistency of those workouts all the time that make you change your body or make you learn how to play the
No,
game.
that's actually really true because, you know, our daughter, Chelsea, is actually an artist. And
This is a good
we
one.
did a purge of our house this last week. And it kind of goes along with our consistency. We'll tell you about that later. But we did a purge of our house this past week, and some of the stuff I found were some of her old paintings, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, she is amazing today. But this was like, I don't know how old she was because it doesn't say, but I think she was like maybe a young teenager, early teenager, and they were. I mean, I still couldn't draw like that today, but to know what she does, they just were not really that good at all.
Yeah.
Like you would look at it and be like, what in the heck? And you know, she came over last night and she made a great point. She said, you know, this just shows you what practice does.
Yeah.
She said that really was not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I found
yeah.
something I loved and I practiced it and I practiced it and I practiced it. And then I went and found programs that I could take to help me learn more and do more and be better. And now she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, you know, you being consistently doing something, eventually it will come to pass. Sometimes it's not the short game.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it's a long game. And so if you want to achieve a goal, you have to be consistent towards it. Don't give up. Don't waver. Even if it's like 5 minutes, when you really want to do 10 minutes, well, it's okay. You did 5 minutes. You know, at least you're doing something, consistently doing something towards whatever it is that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll let you touch on the next point, but I'll jump into this right here. A great way to start developing really, really good consistency in your life is by doing it with a hobby or something you really love to do. Because a hobby is not necessarily what you love to do. If you really love cooking or you love a musical instrument or you do love working out, just start there and just say, I'm going to get really consistent with something I love. So when you do something that's difficult, you can apply that same principle of consistency from something you love to something you just don't like, you don't want to do. Like work and stuff, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to do this. But if you develop the habit on something you love or a hobby, which leads to point number 3.
Developing habits.
Right.
So you really want to develop habits and be consistent with them, kind of like what you were saying, right? Like, and kind of going back to the painting philosophy as well. Like it's a habit. It's something she loved. It was an activity. And then she just kept going with it and being consistent with trying to make herself better. You know, they say it takes 7 days to create a habit, or what is it?
I think it's longer than that. I think it's like 21 or something like that.
20. Oh yeah. I was opposite. So 21 days to form a habit, and then what? 7 days to break it.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I know it was something like that. But anyway, you know, we all have habits in our life, whether it be being on our phone too much, or, you know, just the stuff that you walk in and you just naturally just kind of do it. It's like it's just what you do. Like you come home, you sit down, and you have a glass of water, or you put on the TV, you talk about your day, and then before you know it, your night's done. Yeah. Instead, if you're trying to build healthier habits for yourself and you want to say, go for a walk in the evening, well, then you make that a habit. I'm going for a walk between this time and this time. You know, give yourself like a window, so that way, if for some reason you're later at work or you don't get home at the right time or whatever, you haven't blown it. You're still going, and it's a habit. And after a time, it's going to be something that you desire and that you want, because you're doing it consistently and you're loving the outcome of it.
Right. That will help you develop a good habit of consistency. Right. Mm-hmm. Doing something like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it goes with everything. Like if you, let's say, cleaning the house, you put up a schedule and you're consistently doing what you're supposed to do every day. If you do a little every day in the house, by the end of the week, your house is spotless. Yeah. Always. Your house will always be clean. Yeah. Let's say on Mondays you sweep them up. On Tuesday, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So but then if you have this habit that you formed and you keep going with it and you are consistent with it, it's going to help you. It's going to be easier. You're going to understand. You're going to think about, my mind works this way. And so I'm learning to be more consistent in a lot of things in my life. And I know that when I do put my mind to something and make sure that I'm consistent with it, I know I'm going to get the outcomes that I want. And so I think the more you do that, the more it's easier for you, and it's easier for you to talk to yourself in your mind, because your mind sometimes will tell you otherwise. You know, you will be like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Like, that's too much for me, or I'm not gonna be able to achieve that goal. That's too hard, or maybe I don't deserve it, or whatever. Your mind's gonna beat up on you. So, if you get yourself in the habit of being consistent in your desires, your mind will get stronger, and you'll be able to talk back to yourself, saying, no, 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 no,
Yep.
I got this.
Yep. That's so good. Your self-talk is huge, and that is based off of consistency. I used to be a manic depressant, suicidal when I first met her, and my self-talk was so damaging to myself that it reflects outwardly, right? But if you get your self-talk down where you're like, no, you're worth something, you're of value, you start believing it, and your self-talk, right? Same thing. That's a whole nother side note. But if you can get your consistency in your self-talk, you're going to be dangerous. The next point I want to touch on is probably one of my favorites with consistency. It's because I was in operations.
What's the point? What's the point?
Okay. The point is, with consistency, you can have professional success because of your performance. Professional, financial success, and professional success. So I was in operations management for years, and I interviewed a lot of people. And if you consistently have a good attitude and you consistently go to work at a place you hate, you will get promoted. High possibility you're going to get promoted if you're consistently outperforming everyone else. I don't know how you just don't get promoted on that. But people who go to work and they're consistent with work, who still have a bad spirit about it, they're not open to new ideas because they're being consistent with all of that, And opportunities will not come to you unless you're consistent. They're not just going to show up to inconsistent people.
Yeah, well, I've been in sales for 18 years, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You have to be consistent. You have to go knock on doors. You have to send those emails. You have to call those clients. You have to, or it's not going to come to you. They always say that what you did 6 months ago is what's coming to pass now. So if you make sure that you're consistent in your work ethic, make sure that you're showing up and doing the thing, you will have success. There's just no way you won't.
It's inevitable.
Now being entrepreneurs, it's the same type of thing. You have to be consistently pushing your business, your brand, whatever it is that you're doing. You have to consistently go for it. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes you want to pull the reins and say, I can't do this, but you have to. You have to consistently go and push.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And nothing but growth can happen.
Yeah.
Nothing but growth can happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to go backwards by being consistent.
No way. You won't meet very many. Well, I don't want to say that because there are a lot of unsuccessful, consistent people who are consistently doing the wrong thing.
But they're consistently negative.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Point number 5 is a really, really good one. Being consistent in your life is a massive help to overcome huge obstacles. And it can be emotional, personal, professional, whatever it is. But if you're always consistent in that one topic, the challenges that are going to be presented for you to get there is just something you just keep hammering with consistency over and over and over. And the results are going to come.
Well, when you all the different things we've talked about so far, you're building yourself up. So the more consistent you are in different areas of your life, when a challenge does come your way, you already know how to navigate through that because of your consistency. Or maybe because of your consistency, you have trust with a friend, and that friend's going to help you through this obstacle. Or because you achieved a goal by being consistent, so you're more buff, and a challenge comes where you need to be more buff, then you're already going to overcome that challenge because you're stronger. You're able to pick that table up. You're able to lift these things that you need to lift. So being consistent really does help you overcome challenges.
That's right. It's the oldest quote in the book. What is it? It's, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And there's a lot of people that don't have results in their life because they just don't have a good plan. And with the plan, it's immediate consistency. I'm going to keep going after that. I'm going to keep going after that. There's no negating that.
But I wanted to say something about that, because there has been times where I have been on like a strict eating program, and, I plan to go out of town and still stick to my program, right? Well, I planned it, but it doesn't always go as planned. There's sometimes things come in the way where you're like, oh, I really, you're in a professional setting. You can't really, it's not professional for you to be like, oh, wait a minute, I got to go eat my bar or whatever it is, so you can plan it all out, but don't beat yourself up if you don't actually fulfill it all the way. Just get yourself right back there, because there are circumstances where you have to kind of go off the script a little bit, and it's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just get right back into it the next day and keep going. Because I think sometimes people do that.
Yeah.
Once you are more consistent in your life, you're going to have confidence. But one thing you want to make sure that you do is not beat yourself up if you screwed up one day.
Yeah.
You weren't as consistent, or you had a lazy day. We all want a lazy day sometimes, and that's okay.
And
it
when
is okay.
those situations happen, it's time to become more consistent.
Yes.
I wasn't consistent. It's time to be consistent.
But I'm going to challenge you with this. If there is a day that you have a lazy day and you don't want to be consistent, and you don't want to do the things that you need to do with whatever it is that you're dealing with, make sure that you are diving deep inside you and coming up with a game plan of how you won't have to have these days more often.
Yeah.
Come up with a game plan, like look inside yourself. Is there something that you had to deal with? Is there something in there that's been eating at you? This is why are you overwhelmed? Is there something you got to get rid of in your life? Maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself. There's a lot of different things. So if you do have those days, I would definitely challenge you to see and dig deep within you and see if there's something that maybe needs to either shift or get rid of altogether.
That's right. Good stuff. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. The 5 points to being consistent for this first podcast, continuing next week, are building trust, achieving goals, developing habits, professional success, and overcoming challenges. So that's first part of consistency. Thank you for watching Stoic Events Podcast. Feel free to go to Instagram at stoic_event_planner. Where else can they find us, Gigi?
StoicEvents.net.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it, really.
I think that's it. So,
yeah.
So like and subscribe.
We're on all the podcasts. We're on Spotify and Apple and YouTube.
Yep. So reach out to us if you guys have any questions about event planning, free consultations, and hope you guys have a great week. We will see you next Tuesday. Have a great week, guys.
Bye.